All right, we are live. We got people flowing in already. This is Adam Ashba of Hondros College and Brokered Ashmont Realty. And we have a very special guest today, Claude Nangoh. How are you?
I'm good. Hello.
We got to do this. Claude, he's raising the roof today. He just passed his exam, not too. Well, it's been, let me think, 3 weeks since you passed your test? Has it been 3 weeks?
Sir.
Okay,
3
pretty
weeks.
close to it. All right. Well, Claude's going to talk about what he did to study to pass his exam. It's not easy, but he's going to give you all the inside tips and tricks so you can pass it the first time, hopefully. So we're going to go over that right after this. All right, Claude. Well, thanks for coming on today. Beautiful fall afternoon. So thanks for everyone for joining. And if you have any questions for Claude, you can ask them real time. It's 12 o'clock on Thursday, October 26th. So if it's 12 noon Eastern time, if you have a question, just put them in the comments and then Claude will ask them for you. So with that being said, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. What about you?
Yeah, good. Thanks for coming on. So tell me a little bit about you. Claude, to everyone at home, like where are you from and what's going on in your life?
I'm Claude Nangoh, originally from Cameroon. Cameroon is in West Africa. I have a full-time job. I'm a content creator. I do rideshare. I work Mondays to Friday from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Every mornings I do real estate. I equally do real estate on weekends.
Yeah. You're busy. You have a lot
It's
of
very
irons in the
busy.
fire, Claude. So, and I know, and the reason why I always ask that question, I told you that before we came on, is that we're all busy. I have 4 kids. I'm busy. I teach, run a company, and but you can find time to study, right? So, Claude, did you you went to Hondros, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you do all of your studying? Did you do it self-paced or did you go into a classroom?
I studied online. I did a live stream, and I went to classroom.
Oh, you did all 3?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay. Let me ask you this. Why did you do all 3? Why did you mix it up? Just out of curiosity.
From the onset, I just wanted to gain experience, but in the midst of it, I realized a live stream was the best option for me.
Yeah, you like the live stream the best?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. I like live stream. I think that's the best of both worlds because like you have that one-on-one interaction with an instructor, but yet you're at home. Like you kind of can do both. So, but yeah, and Kate 2 weeks ago that she was on, she did a lot of live stream too, and that's not typical. Live stream is the one that always I think people forget about, or something. But I think it's the best of both worlds. So, well, how long, Claude? How long did it? Was it? Because you passed about 3 weeks ago. But when did you start this journey? When did you sign up at Hondros? When did that all start?
I started in April and I finished in October, so it was about 6 months.
Okay, you started in April.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So did you have to renew? Because we at Hondros, for everyone at home that maybe hasn't started the process yet, you have 6 months from start to finish. Did you have to extend at all, Claude, or you got it done before the 6 months was up?
No, I got it done before the 6 months were up. I didn't
Okay,
renew.
yeah. One thing I like about the 6 month window is, in all honesty, guys, it takes about, if you really just did it, probably about 3 months. 6 months, would you agree, Claude's plenty of time to get it done?
It is.
Yeah. Okay. Longer you go, everybody, the likelihood of you passing gets lower and lower. It's just useless information that you'll never learn again, that you'll soon you laugh, Chloe. It's true though, right? It's true as you get into it. But like it's information that you're just gonna forget. And longer you delay it, more than likely you're just gonna forget it. It's gonna be hard for you when you take your test. Um,
Yeah.
so but why do you think it took the full 6 months for you, Claude? I'll pick on you a little bit if that's okay.
Yes, it was just because I had a lot of things to do. I have a family that I take care of, so
Mhm.
working and going to school at the same time was not really that easy.
Mhm.
So, and then
Uh,
I had to write, I failed too. So I had to extend the time.
okay. Yeah, let's talk about that, and I appreciate you being candid about it. You didn't pass your first time, right, Claude?
Right,
Yeah, and then you didn't pass it the second. You were close though, if I remember, right?
right.
Okay. I talked to a lot of students, but you were real close. But the third time, and the reason, and I'm not, we talked about this, so I got the okay. He's not going to beat me up at the next meeting. But the reason why is, guys, like I want to preface it, like to take your test 2 or 3 times, that's pretty standard, okay? And I know a lot of people, they take it once and they think, "I'm a failure, I'm never gonna do it again." Not a lot of people pass it the first time, and I talk to a huge amount of people that does, on the real estate stuff. It's not if someone says I passed it my first time, I'm usually like, "What?" I'm kinda startled a little bit, like, "You did? Oh my gosh." Because it is tricky, and we're gonna go over some things that maybe helped, Claude pass this exam. So just remember that, guys. If you pass it or I'm sorry, fail it once or twice, it's okay. Just get back on the horse like he did and you'll pass it. You really will. So, um, I guess, Claude, did you? What are some things that you studied during your journey getting ready for the test that you kind of felt that was like, gosh, that really helped me. That really helped me when I got into the test. What were some things? Do you remember?
Yes, sir. What really helped me that I studied was finance. There was equally contracts, and I
Contract.
did some calculations too. So they really helped me. I remember for all the sessions I went in, finance and contracts carried the highest questions.
Yeah, contracts. There's a lot. Calculations. Contracts. There's 11, I think, on the exam.
I had
Calcu
four.
How
Okay, I
many?
had 14 the last time I
14.
took it. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, all right. So then probably how many math questions did you have the last time?
There
Do you
were
remember?
8.
8, okay. Because the math, you get anywhere from 5 to 10, and so if you get less calculations or math, they'll take that and they'll put it somewhere else. So, math is always a hot button. And again, if anyone has any questions, we have people watching live right now. If anyone has any questions, feel free to feel free to uh, put the question in the comment, and Claude will answer it for you. If you guys have any questions. So let's talk about math since you brought it up, Claude. Do you remember what type of math questions? Because you saw the exam 3 times, the national part. Do you remember some of the math questions? What type of questions they asked?
Yes, there were questions on appreciation, depreciation, amortization,
Okay,
and there
those are
were
hard
equally
ones.
questions on township.
Okay, yep. So appreciation, depreciation, and then the township of the acreage and all that stuff. Is that right?
Then,
Okay.
then amortization.
Amortization, okay. That one gets people. Those are some hard ones. Those are the hard ones. Did you, because usually, you might if you have 5 or 6 of math questions, you might get one of those popped up, and some people are like, "Adam, I just can't figure this out." I just don't get it. And I'll just say, listen, just forget it. You're going to probably get it wrong. Take a guess, because it is multiple choice. Um, and now I guess, Claude, were you prepared for those types of questions, or did you just say, I didn't spend a lot of time on them. I made an educated guess and I moved on. Do you, did you feel good about them, or you took a more of a guess situation?
I did prepare except for amortization. The questions, the steps are always lengthy, so I find some difficulties answering them.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. Because you guys, one thing with math, and this goes for any question, and Carl has a question coming in here for you, Claude, but is, you have four answers, two of them are totally off base. So if this was an exam on fruits and vegetables, A might be apple, B might be orange, C might be car, and D might be, I don't know, truck. And you know that C and D have nothing to do with vegetables. So A or B could be one or the other. So for the math, sometimes if you just don't know, kind of read it and see if it makes sense, and maybe plug in one of the answers into the equation to see if it makes sense. No, usually they're going to be two of them are going to be really close, and you're just going to have to make an educated guess on it. So, Carl has a question. You said, Carl asks, how many questions was finance? How many questions were finance questions?
Yeah, for the last time I wrote, there were 13 questions.
Okay. And do you remember along, like, what were some of those?
I
Claude,
had
I'm
que-
trying to.
okay. I had questions on the RESPA, Equal Credit Opportunity Act.
Mhm.
There was a question on VA loan, and there was another question on FHA loan.
Okay, VA, FHA, which those are good. We're actually doing a workshop next week on VA loans. Okay, RESPA. Yeah, and the thing about it is actually those are some things that do come up in the real world. So it's good that they're testing on that, because a lot of the stuff we joked earlier when we started here at Claude that a lot of the stuff that shows up on the exam have nothing to do with the real world. So, but those seem RESPA, that'll be something that's going to be coming up in the real world as well as those other ones. So, yeah, thank you, Carl, for those questions. Again, if anyone has any questions for Claude, just put it in the comments and we'll throw it up and he can answer them real time. So, um, did you let's talk about like how you studied. So once you got, how did you study? Claude, did you study at night? And how did you have a couple jobs going at the same time. How did you find time to study? How did you, break that down and get regimented?
Okay, I study 6 hours a day, 4 days a week,
Holy
and
smokes, that's a lot.
I study sections after sections. Like, for example, I could study finance today, and the following day I study contracts and do some calculations. I didn't just mix up the concepts. And
Did,
then,
is this what you studied after you completed your coursework? Is that what you're saying?
yes, sir.
Okay. All right. To get ready for the test.
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's a lot. Well, what about, we'll break it down even easier. How did you study like your coursework? Does that make sense? Like as you're working your two jobs, like how did you study? Because that's I get that a lot. Like people say, I just don't have time. I can't find time to study. Does that
Yes.
make sense? How did you study? Did you study in the morning before your job started at 2?
I study in the morning and I equally
Mhm.
study at night.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So you how long would you study in the morning? Like an hour?
I could do like 3 hours.
Jeez. Okay. So you did you it sounds like you studied a lot and then took a break, then studied a lot, then took breaks. Is that what you did to
Yes.
take? Okay. All right. So it kind of, if you study that long, in a given day, you'd have had that wrapped up. You'd have had all your coursework done in about a month, probably.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. We got another question coming in. Claude, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I feel really what's the right word? Like important because you keep calling me sir. So all right, William Carroll has a question here for you, Claude. Get ready. It says, how did the national exam differ from the state exam? So there's a lot of differences for sure. But how did it differ?
Yes, the main difference is in the structure of the test. With the national exam, you have about 80 to 90 questions,
Mm-hmm.
which you answer within 120 minutes. And then with the state test, you have 40 questions, which you answer within 60 minutes.
Yep, that's right. Yep. So, and I guess William, I don't know if you want to know, is it maybe more content too? Um, but yeah, I mean, Claude's 100% right. National has 80 questions, state has 40. Now, the national can have 90, but there's these test questions. Is that experimental questions? That's right. What I want to say that they actually are testing to see if they can use them on future tests. So there are two separate tests, like Claude mentioned, and you get scores on each one individually. And if you fail one, and pass the other, you got to come back and just take the test you failed. You passed the state one the first time, though, didn't you, Claude?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. The national, that is very typical, guys. The national exam is usually, I don't want to say harder necessarily, but it's the one that people fail the most by far, by far. The state exams really just over state laws, and you're learning about keeping your license renewed and things like that. It's literally 30, 40 questions over a small percentage of your book. If you're a Hondros student, it's pretty minimal. And I think that's why a lot of people do well on that. William has a follow-up question. Yes, what is the difference in content? Yeah, was the state part focused on the Department of Commerce or board? I'll repeat that. So he's asking, Claude, was the state test focused on the Department of Commerce or the board? The board's probably the division. I'm guessing he's saying maybe the division of real estate or still more info. Do you remember what was on the state exam, Claude? Is that what kind of
Yes, it
question?
covered the Department of Commerce, it covered the Real Estate Commission,
Mhm.
the laws. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's law, lot of laws. Remember how to your post licensing, your 30 hours of CE, the the division real estate, the canon of ethics. It's just a lot of that stuff that's focused on just Ohio law, which you'll find that in your law book if you're a Hondros student. So, good question. All right, Claude, I guess some hot questions we always get all the time is, did you do a Crammer class? Did you do a Crammer class at Hondros? Do you know what
No.
you did not? Okay. All right. Um, did you do the CompuCram? Like, anything other than reading your books that you did? Is there anything that you did other than reading your Hondros books that helped you?
No, I didn't use CompuCram. Um, I got some questions from PSI.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, I got more than 1,000 questions for the national portion,
Oh, got it.
more than 300 questions for the state portion.
You bought the big package.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about that. Because a couple years ago, no one ever talked about the PSI practice exam questions. So for everyone at home, again, this is non-Hondros. They're going to get mad that I say this, but PSI has a study exam questions that you can buy. Now, Claude, how much is the big package? The 1,000 question one. How much did that cost?
It's $71.
$71. Okay.
Yeah, with tax, this should go up to 75.
Okay. So $75. You get 1,000 questions. They have smaller ones. They have a $500. I'm sorry, a 500 question one. And then
Yes.
they have a smaller one, which I didn't know they had, but someone on the group told me that it was 180 questions. Does that you remember that, Clotus, the small package they
Yeah, I
have?
don't quite remember the small package because I just went for the
Okay.
bigger one.
And why did you buy that? Why did you buy the PSI questions, and where did you find it? How did you buy that? Where did you get it? For everyone at home that might want to buy it.
I bought it from the PSI website, and the reason being that PSI administered a test. So obviously, some of the questions I thought would feature in the test. Yes.
Yeah. One thing I like about it, I've said this multiple times on these interviews, is that, Claude, did you find this helpful? Is when you took the practice test on the PSI that you bought, did it look exactly like visually look like how our screen's set up? Did it look exactly like the test itself?
No,
It
it's
did
not.
not. Okay. How was it different?
The difference is in terms of the structure. You might have the same question, but the setting is different. They might just mix up some words.
Okay. When I say different, meaning were the colors, the buttons the same?
No, they're not.
The Okay, you think it was different. How was it different, I guess?
The
Make sure
thing
I'm
is,
talking.
when you're writing the test, you have the option to see the time. With the practice section, you don't have it in the practice one, but in the
Okay,
test itself, you see the time.
the timer. Got it. Okay. That was the difference. Got it. Yeah. Yeah, because you do have a timer, guys, when you take the exam. You can kind of toggle it down so you're not staring at it. Is that right, Chloe? Like you don't have to have the timer looking at you the whole time. That freaks people out. But so you felt that spending that extra money on that PSI was helpful.
Yes.
It was okay. You'd recommend people because there is a $50 one at everyone at home. There's a $50 option that you can buy if you don't want to spend 75. There's a cheaper one, and I think it's 180 questions for like $30. So I don't know, but it's on the PSI exam. Anything else that you studied or any other tools that you use? Because you didn't use the CompuCram or the Crammer. You did the PSI. Anything else? Flashcards or anything else that you
Um,
studied that you would recommend?
I watched some videos on YouTube,
Hmm.
and I remember the last time I went into write before I scheduled the test.
Hmm.
PSI proposed another a set of questions. They were for $23, which I bought then. That was through Geometrics. The questions
Geometry.
are actually from Geometrics. So when I bought them, they gave me. I realized it's a 2018 session. So that's what was answered, was set in 2018.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, the questions were from 2018.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, be careful with that, guys, because the exam changed the year later than that, and it changed for the worst. It was a lot harder. So yeah, I would not buy any questions that aren't very recent. And PSI is going to have recent stuff too, as well as Hondros. So yeah, I have a question coming in. You ready?
Ready.
Okay. All right. I always want to ask just in case. I don't want to throw you up. All right. Claude, William says, were there a lot of questions about ownership interests, like joint tenancy or tenancy in common. That's a tough class to teach too, believe it's boring. So was there any questions about um, estates too? That's a boring topic. But any questions about ownership, like joint tenancy or tenancy in common?
Yes, sir.
You see
I
any of
met
those?
questions on the
Claude?
ownership and tenancy in common. There were. I think the last time I went in, I
You saw
had
some? Okay,
about 5 questions.
5. Okay, that's significant. Okay, so better know that for sure. Yeah. Was there anything, Claude, that you studied that you wish you didn't? Like, does that make sense? Like, you spent a lot of time on some subjects that you were thinking, "Gosh, I shouldn't have wasted my time because I didn't see any of that up on the exam." Was there anything that you studied that you said, "Don't worry about it, it doesn't show up," or you didn't see it?
I spent some time doing commission calculations, which I didn't
Mhm.
see in the test.
You didn't see any on commission? Wow, that's surprising. That's a pretty common one. Okay. But, are you comfortable with that?
I
Cl
am.
Okay. Good, because you better know, because when you sell a house, you gotta know your commissions, so yeah, that's kinda surprising. Commissions usually does come up. I'll push back on Claude. You must have got maybe unlucky because those are easier ones. When it says, if you sell a house, you get a $10,000 commission check and you're 50-50 with your broker, how much commission do you get? It's like that. It's kind of basic, percentages. You do get a calculator. They gave you a calculator, right, Claude?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. You couldn't bring your own. Can't,
No.
so, but yeah, so that's that those do show up a lot though. I would know that. I would recommend about like down payments as well as like figuring out your commission and things that usually will pop up. So where did you take your test at? Claude, where did you take it? Which exam
It
location?
was it was in the Allen Creek Exam Center.
Mhm.
It's down
Okay.
in Groveport.
Okay. How did it go? How was the testing center? Was it professional? Was it cold or hot or anything?
To me, the testing center was okay. That's why I stick to it for the 3 sections I went in. Um, the the parking lot is okay. I didn't lack a parking spot. And then at the welcoming area, the receptionist, the lady I met there, she was always good. She gave detailed instructions.
Okay.
And then in the examination hall itself, the temperatures were good and
Okay.
it wasn't noisy.
Wasn't all right. Yeah. And just for everyone at home, you didn't get your own little room, did you, Claude? It's in a open area with cubbies. That's what I call them.
Yeah, it's an open area.
Yeah. Yeah, with little cubbies. So, yeah, Groport. Yeah, I took my broker or no. Maybe I took my real estate exam there. My salesperson years ago. It's been there a long time. Yeah, a lot of people, and it's pretty convenient. That's on the southeast side of Columbus. Dublin has a testing center too, so they kind of bookend the city. If you're Central Ohio, um, that like Claude. So I don't know. Any other tips? Or about a half hour mark. So good questions. If anyone has any last minute questions for Claude, throw it in now. We're gonna try to wrap it up here in a second. But any other tips or anything that you would give people, and just anything in general, like, oh hey, do that or don't do that before we go off today?
All right. The very first tip will be that if you're going in for your real estate test, make sure you practice as many questions as possible. And why practice? The second tip is why practicing. If you come across a difficult question, just screenshot it and revise it over and over. It will help you to have a mastery over it. And then, if you're somebody who loves driving like me, you can type out some of the questions and play them while driving. it helped me a lot. There are so many apps, speech, text-to-speech apps out there that you can use to listen as you drive.
Oh, so you were doing we had a we had an agent that was on, um, and, he listened. He's a police officer, and he listened to a lot of podcasts and prep agent too while he was driving, that had questions, and he just thought it just helped him, like, just with, like, keywords, like, he just always remembering definitions and things like that, so yeah, so you did something similar to that. You were listening, trying to, like, occupy your time and double dip basically on on your work. So that's a good, not everyone commutes a lot, like maybe you guys, but if you do, there's a lot of good stuff on YouTube and podcasts and things that will really help. So, all right, any last questions in the group? I don't see any popping up here. So, uh, well, anything else? Any final words, Claude, before we get off?
Yeah, before I round up, I was about saying that if you're somebody that is spiritual, you like to pray, then I would advise you to pray too before you go for your test. And
Yeah.
then the last one is not just a tip, but a disclaimer. There are so many people out there, probably in the social media platforms, that will tell you, okay, give me $200, $300 or $500, and I'll give you the question and the answers. I realize most of these people are actually fraudsters. I'm not saying all, but the ones I met are fraudsters. So you got to be careful.
Yeah, yeah. Be careful what you're paying for out here, and that's why throw it in the group. People will. There's a lot of people that are asking for math tutors and things like that. So yeah, don't get scammed. Before you buy it, just ask in the group and see if anyone has any experience with it. So, Claude, thank you so much for coming on. That it really helps. I mean, a lot of people, you don't know it, but a lot of people say, "Gosh, that really helped me," because you're the star today, Claude. So thank you. And if you're looking for real estate, you want to buy real estate in Ohio, especially Central Ohio, Claude, how do they get a hold of you if someone wants to buy some real estate or maybe ask you a question? How do they get a hold of you?
Okay, my contact is listed below my name. So if you get to me, I'll be quick to answer and to help you around.
Yep. So his email address is below his name, like right below my name, like that. So, all right, Claude. Well, thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it. Have a great rest of everyone's week. Enjoy the weather because it's going to get cold next week. And we'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody.